What is up, Internet World, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're in the 2023 IONIQ 6. Now, the IONIQ 6 is built on the same platform, or what Hyundai calls the global platform that they'll use for pretty much everything. Their sedans, their hatchbacks, even their SUVs. The IONIQ 5 and the EV6 are both built off this platform. The standard IONIQ 6 packs 225 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. And if you want all-wheel drive, well, you get the monster. 320 horsepower and 446 pound-feet of torque that accelerates from 0 to 60 in about 5 seconds. So to the front, there's a lot of pixelation, and look at these headlights. There's a lot of squares, like even on the bottom, these DRLs are in amber, and then above it you have 2 projector LEDs, but there's squares all built into this headlight. It looks very Porsche, if you ask me. It's got this long sloped hood that really fires to the bottom, and then you have this new Hyundai embedded flush badge. Fancy. But everybody's going to be talking about this centerpiece right here. This panel is all black, and it separates the top from the bottom because the bottom is what's important. These 2 pieces are a talking point. They actually open up to let air flow inside to cool things off. And then of course you have all your radar pieces here, and then you have these Knight Rider little squares, 6 of them. If you know what they do, comment below and let us know. But that's not the only functional air vent. You see over here on both sides, air flows through, goes through these little holes, goes up and over the tire to give it more aerodynamics. Now, how much room do we have underneath the frunk of this IONIQ 6? Is it big? Is it small? Only we will find out right now. Well, it's got prop rods, that's cool. And this is how much room you have. Enough for like a cheese platter or a small charcuterie board. So to the side, do you see this little piece of plastic right here? That is designed to tighten up the gap between the front bumper and the tire to reduce drag coefficient and make it as streamlined as possible. And when we go through the side of the car, you will notice that everything about this thing is designed to be streamlined and make it as smooth as possible. It's supposed to be an air train. Now, Hyundai says there's more pixels to be found. There's 726 of them to be exact. I can't wait to find them. And speaking of pixels, come take a look at this mirror housing that's of course color matched. You've got 6 of them here, and underneath you have a camera. I haven't been inside, and we hopefully can drive one soon, but hopefully this sees the blind spot monitoring, I assume. Please, Hyundai. Now what you'll notice is a lot of black trim, but you'll also notice these flush door handles that open up like a Tesla Model 3. But I think the biggest piece that this thing represents is what's going on from here back. It tapers down very, very heavy, and they made this portion from the rear axle to the back as long as possible. Some will say Mercedes-Benz CLS, the original one. Others will say Saab or Citroën in the back here. And I like that vibe. And again, more pixels. Take a look. And as far as wheels go, I really like that they're not heavy on EV design. Pretty much every car out there that is EV or some sort of portion of EV rocks these like flat design that suck. This thing is funky, it's got a lot of cuts, it's like a nightclub, and these things are 20s. If you want to know. And here's the charging port, and there's more pixels, 6 of them, because this is an IONIQ 6. So you'll see that theme, 6 pixels are everywhere. And my favorite part of this car is the back. This reminds me of the 911 Dakar we just came from. It's got like two spoilers, this massive one up here, and then this little baby one up here that reminds me of an old generation M4 CSL. That's cool, because if you just left it flat like the old generation CLS, it's ugly. But you have this thing that has two spoilers. They probably put one on and then realized, if we add another one right here and put all our coffee across the top, it would look way cooler. They even have this like glass acrylic piece over here with, again, pixels. Now I wonder if this acrylic piece has a third brake light in it. I'm pretty sure it does just by looking at it, but it's pretty sick that you have brake over here and brake all the way here. Look at these crazy pixels. There's pixels everywhere. Anyways, as for the badge, this is a new badge and it's right here, all fancy. And then moving down now, where's the camera? It's right here. And then what's the button for? There's 6 little tiny pixels on there. I wonder what it does when I press it. It's press car. It's locked, but this opens up. Now, as we move down from this 3-dimensional rear end, the bumper shows up and it's piano black. It's so clean. I don't want anybody to hit this thing. It obviously does have the rear Parktronic and of course the camera up here, but these pixels are here again. There's pixels up here, here, and then all the way in the bottom. They're in between these 2 vertical silver pieces on either side, and it really widens the car when they're on. Back seat of the IONIQ 6. Now let's focus on this door panel at first. If we start at the top, you obviously have your door handle, but let's look at the trim here and what they've finished it with. They have this sort of wave pattern, an up and down sort of piece. Now it looks very plain, but it's very minimalist because the quality of materials they've used is sort of unique. Obviously you have your power door switches here for your windows, and then where's your heated seat button? Is it in the center console? Nope, this doesn't have it, and I'm assuming this is the most loaded one. Then there's the IONIQ 6 sill, and then there's a little spot here for a cup holder with 2 speakers, one up top and one on the bottom. Now, how much room do we have in the back seat of the IONIQ 6? Well, I have about 6 fingers, so a decent amount, similar to a Honda Accord if you're basing your decision on that. How much legroom do I have? Again, a ton. I have like, man, this is at least 14 to 16 inches of legroom. This is nice back here. There is no heated seats right now. Again, this is pre-prod. This is not one that's going to go out for sale in the public, but here we are. I'm glad I get to touch and feel it. It does have 2 USBs in the back and of course vents. This does not have a panoramic sunroof, just a singular sunroof. And how about folding the seats down? Can I fold these seats down, and how do they work? Well, right now on this model, there's nothing for me to fold it down. I could not get into the trunk. It was locked, and I probably can't even get into the front seat. I'm sneaked back here in the back and nobody's kicked me out as yet. Front seat of the IONIQ 6, and I'm so blessed to be sitting in this thing. So if we start the door panel here, there's a massive speaker grill. It's huge. It's like twice the size of my head. But anyways, moving into the dash, you have these little winglets that stick out on the left and on the right. Now, I've seen different videos out there that they actually don't have side mirrors. They actually have cameras, and that's probably where the screen goes for the camera, which would make sense. Now, as far as the steering wheel goes, it's kind of typical Hyundai in some respects. It's nice and big. It's not a small, sporty steering wheel. It kind of looks like an upside down steering wheel, if anything. You have your different drive modes on there. You have your lane keep. You have your adaptive cruise control, all of which that are all blacked out because we cannot actually have this car on. We're just in it in all static and nothing is really on. But anyways, I just want to show you guys the buttons and kind of get a feel of what this thing is like. Now, I wonder if Hyundai will actually say this screen is like 27 inches or so, because that's what most manufacturers are doing now. They're not actually saying it's like a 10.25 and a 10.25. They're saying this whole thing is like 27 inches. That's what you get. I wonder if they'll do that. Now, moving below, you have your HVAC controls and your volume. Now, the center console follows that electric vibe. You have a ton of room underneath because you have space when it comes to electric, just like the flat floor in the back. You have your wireless charger up here. You have a USB, not a USB-C, and then you have these 2 cup holders that are pretty generic. And then when you're moving down, you have all your window switches, including lock, unlock, auto hold, and then window lock. And then underneath here, do you have a sliding armrest? No, you don't. You simply just pull this up and you have 2 USB-Cs. So USB up there, 2 USB-Cs down there, and a decent size center console. So interestingly enough, this is an iPhone 13 Max. Will this thing fit on the wireless charger? It's very, very tight. Now, I wonder if this thing's just because it's pre-production, it might not be the right size, but it's interesting right now. My phone really just doesn't seem to fit. That's pretty interesting. So where is the shifter, you might ask? It is not in the center console. It is up here underneath the wiper stock right over here that you slide up and slide down, similar to the IONIQ 5 with your parking right there. There's the button. I cannot wait for anybody that buys this car and puts a front license plate. Well, where is it gonna go? There's a camera right here, and here is where your radars are. That's gonna be so fun. You can't put it on the side because this thing opens up. No front plate. So I hope you guys liked that quick look on the brand new IONIQ 6. Hyundai's first EV saloon, and it's got lots of pixels if you didn't notice. So I want to give a big shout out to Hyundai Canada for bringing us all the way to Los Angeles to see and touch and feel this bad boy, and even taking a look at this, my dream super gamer's car. How awesome is this that I get to touch it? I mean, without the security guard obviously, but anyways, back to the IONIQ 6. Thanks for bringing us here, Hyundai Canada. And if you haven't been on our channel before, please subscribe. We need all the subs we can get. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one.